Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters of the Week video. Thought I'd mix one of these in while I continue with my Cryptids and Monsters series. This one yet another random page, another random suggestion within the cryptids.wikia.com website, and lo and behold, so happy that on the very first instance it came up with yet again another one of my beloved lumberjack cryptids. You know how much I love those. I've done a good number of those in the past because they offer so much originality, so much fascinating information. In fact, I've done so many of them, I'm probably going to create a separate playlist just for those lumberjack cryptids, and then that way as I continue to add on more videos, I'll just simply place them within the playlist, so be on the lookout for that one soon. Also, this particular cryptid yet again has to do with a feline lumberjack. I've done several others of those in the past too. In fact, some of the ones that come to mind include, I think, the cactus cat and then also the splinter cat. So this one is yet another cat-like creature, another cryptid involving a cat in the lumberjack tail. And you're looking at it now, very, very distinct, automatic part of its body, that just stands out, and I'll highlight that here in a minute. But it has to do with this. It's known as the Sliver Cat. Interesting name, especially considering its main attributes. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the brief but still fascinating information associated with this lumberjack cryptid. So what is the Sliver Cat? Well, unfortunately, there's not too much info tied to it. It just seems to be another one of those creatures that hasn't had too many encounters. It just seems to really dwell very nicely hidden somewhere in North America. But who knows, maybe there might be a future encounter someday where it'll just break the dam open and then everyone will be able to know its existence. But yes, it's been around at least long enough for the time period back then under the Wild West, the frontier era, when we had all these people traveling out westward, so-called lumberjack era, and then that's when they would come across this creature. So think of it probably as the size of, let's say, a cougar, a puma, maybe even a tiger, something along those lines, larger than your average cat, but still not too extreme, nothing like the very, very large cryptids that I've mentioned in the past. Interestingly enough, it dwells within the trees there in North America. So instead of, let's say, some creature, like most cats, they hibernate, I'm sorry, not hibernate, but they sleep mostly on the ground, and then every now and then they go up in the trees, the higher stances. You know how much cats love to be able to come up on high points and then just stay there and look downward. Now in this case, this thing seems to make its entire dwelling on the top of trees. Maybe that's why it's remained so well hidden there within certain forests. But yes, otherwise it's just a larger than usual cat, has the same distinct characteristics of a cat, the fur, the tabby spots maybe on it. Also, its head basically just looks like a cat. It does seem to have these ears that are considered tasseled. I guess they have those tiny, tiny points of fur on the top of those ears. Its eyes are a little bit more distinct. It has its reddish eyes, and interestingly enough, it has horizontal slits on those eyes as well. So that also stands out too, rather than, let's say, vertical slits. Who knows, maybe this makes it adapt more well when it comes to its vision. But by far the most distinct thing on this thing, and you're looking at it obviously in all these pictures, has to be with its tail. Instead of, let's say, a regular cute tail that constantly just flicks around. Isn't it curious involving cats? Why did they do that? Why did they always just flick their tail nonchalantly? Especially like if you were to hold the tail, it would try to get out of your grasp, just to continue just flicking it as is. I always wondered about that. If anyone knows why they do that, that'd be great to hear. But yes, instead of having this tail that the normal cat has, no, it has a gigantic spiked club at the end of its tail, much like an ankylosaur, one of the long lost dinosaurs. And this tail it absolutely uses both on defense, but most importantly on offense. It is a hunter. It is dangerous. It preys on any animals that it comes across within the North American forest. It uses its advantage up on those trees to look downward and know that nothing can see it, but it can definitely see them. That gives it obviously like a huge advantage, because who's going to be looking upward all the time whenever they're walking through certain parts of the forest? And then once it sees its prey and it's ready to jump, it pounces down, and then instead of, let's say, striking with its claws, it instead uses this gigantic clubbed tail. It'll simply just swipe that tail on the person. Maybe it hits it on the head, maybe it hits the person on its chest or back, knocking its breath out, something along those lines. The whole point is it's going to be knocked unconscious. Whoever this person is will just hit the ground as is, and then the rest is over. This Sliver Cat will then drag the body upwards back into the trees, back to its nest somewhere there, and then it would basically devour this person afterwards. So quite a bad way to go out in life when it comes to meeting this creature, because there you are, you're probably walking within one of those trails, and then the next second you're just blacked out. You have no idea what happened, and you'll probably never wake up again because of this Sliver Cat. And like most felines, and I don't know, you have, I've seen them too, those videos out there on YouTube, whenever you see any those lions anywhere in Africa or anywhere else, whenever they grasp onto something, they hold on very well. I mean, evolution has absolutely made these creatures the pinnacle of hunters, with their claws, with their bites. And in this case, this advantage of having a spiked club as well. I mean, this is a creature just perfectly adept to hunting. So in this case, with the Sliver Cat holding on to somebody, or in this case, let's say that on a rare occasion they try to escape, there's going to be very, very little hope. And you imagine too, like this thing, how quickly it must run. Cats obviously run very, very fast, very agile too. They can just dart between angles like no other creature out there. And then of course, whenever they fall, and let's say you happen to hit them and then they fall backwards, they always land on their feet and then always ready to pounce back. So you have very little hope, in other words, if you run into this creature there in those forests in North America. But that's pretty much it. Not much else associated with this Sliver Cat. Unfortunately, again, not much info to provide because of its elusiveness. But if anybody has anything else I might have missed, maybe other very specific encounters, hopefully, that people have as examples, maybe in the long past time period, please post those comments. Maybe anybody else know where they happen to dwell in specific states. They happen to be there somewhere in North America in the forest, hopefully, but unknown where exactly. So if anybody has that info too, that'd be really, really great to hear. But alright, that's everybody. Thanks again as always for your continued viewership. And yes, if you're a fan of these particular lumberjack tales, I'm going to create that playlist soon, and then create everything there, and then I'll probably just link the playlist to the comments below. So alright everybody, thanks again as always. Take care.